No.
Tigers. Fight, Tigers, fight, Tigers, fight. Mike, it's not even a top 1,000 moment all time.
Okay, Tommy, shut the hell up, man.
Mike! Of course, I'm gonna go with the right answer. It's Ryan Eads of the Baltimore Orioles. He's only wore the number 80 for 8 games. He's only one of 2 players.
You know what? No, I'm not gonna take this. Welcome back to Go Chat. We are back with episode number 89. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button. If you're not, we have a great episode for you guys today. Episode 89. We got Go of the Number. Last week we did 88, had some Tony Gonzalez, some Patrick Kane. Week before that we had Sidney Crosby, Reggie Wayne. Now we're going into 89. Connor, I'm going to start with you. You've had some picks lately, with Reggie Wayne. Who are you going to go side with at 89?
I've had some picks lately, but you went Aaron Rodgers with number 12. Yeah, I rewatched
you agree, and you ended up agreeing with me like midway, like at 30 or something. That it was.
I ended up rewatching that clip after you put out that 1 year special, and I couldn't stop laughing. I thought it was hysterical. You forgot that Mike didn't walk out or you thought Mike didn't walk out of the room. It was so funny. Anyway, I'm gonna go to number 89. I'm going Mike Ditka from Chicago Bears. He is a NFL Hall of Famer. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, Super Bowl champ, NFL champ, Offensive Rookie of the Year in 1961, 1985 Coach of the Year, and 1988 Coach of the Year. Over 400 receptions as a tight end, over 5,000 yards, and over 40 touchdowns in 158 career games. Mike Ditka was one of the first real good tight ends in the NFL, and it continued, and he wound up having a really good coaching career. Now, He's doing great things still for the sport of football. So Mike Ditka here for 89.
Tommy, are you going to agree with that or throw out some random baseball player that I have no idea?
Well, I am going to do that for my honorable mention, but for the go of the 89, yes, I got to go with Mike Ditka. And Connor, you gave all the stats. He's done everything that you can do on a football field pretty much in terms of playing and coaching. So he's the obvious choice for me today.
Didn't win an MVP, but you're right.
Wow.
Tommy. He did do a lot, but
that is true. He didn't win MVP.
Won pretty much everything else. Mike.
I'm gonna go with Mike Ditka here too. Really one of the best tight ends in that early era of the NFL when it first came to fruition. The first couple of Super Bowls and stuff like that. And especially his illustrious career as a coach, that's just to throw on top of what he did as a player. So just such a well-rounded NFL character, and kind of gave all the stats and stuff, but he was awesome for the Bears.
The question is the Packers fan going to go with Mike Ditka?
Yeah, 100%. I think the go number 89 is Mike Ditka. He's done a lot for the Chicago Bears franchise, including coaching them, and he was a really good coach back in the day, but for the fact that he was number 89, one of the best tight ends back in that era, like Mike said, Hall of Famer, pretty much everything. He pretty much did everything, like just reiterating off what Tommy said. He did a lot. Didn't win that MVP, but still Coach of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Super Bowl champ, NFL champ, all of that stuff. So I think it's got to be Mike Ditka here. Couldn't really find anyone else to put out there.
I'm looking at his Pro Football Reference right now, and his first 6 seasons in the league, which were all with Chicago, his first 5 were his Pro Bowl appearances, and he didn't miss a game his first 6 years in the NFL. Played in all 14, obviously. Back in the 1960s, they only played 14 in a regular season, but didn't miss a game his first 6 years of his career. So that's definitely a big feat, and ended with his career in 1972 without missing a game in that season. So definitely a player who was able to be on the field and be productive at all times.
Ended with the Dallas Cowboys. I had no idea that he played.
Me too. I know.
Tommy, might as well throw out your honorable mention. Make it quick.
I'll make it quick. So we got to go with Miguel Yajure, the first player in baseball history to wear the number 89. He did it in 2020, and he was with the Yankees. So how could I not, acknowledge him? And he pitched pretty well in his 3 games with the Yankees, 1.29 ERA. And then two with the Pirates this year. He's still doing well, 3.86. And he's a trendsetter because since then 2 other players have worn the number 89. So we gotta acknowledge Miguel today.
Oh boy.
But he pitched well. I mean, it was only 3 games, so like that's not one of my worst picks.
Yeah,
Guys,
but the sample size is just not there.
I mean, it's not, but it could be.
we can just totally. I just remembered we are only 10 episodes away from episode 99, where I think we're all gonna flame Tommy. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be the worst go to the number segment I think we've ever filmed. It'll be worse than number 12.
It's gonna
No, I
be
don't know if I could yell at Tommy like that.
No, I don't think it's gonna be worse than number 12 because I don't think Tommy's gonna yell at us back.
He's just gonna be like, you know what? I just like him. He's a great player.
He is. He's a great player, great guy. But I'm gonna save that for episode 99.
Gives you guys something to look out for in the next month, or I can't even do the math. So
Next couple months.
next couple months this summer. Look forward to episode 99 and episode 100 too, which would be 2 really big episodes. But nonetheless, we got an episode to film here today. We're going to be talking about the NBA basketball playoffs and the NHL playoffs, giving a little update on that since they're a round or 2 in. The NHL is a little faster than the NBA right now, but the NBA is finishing up their first round, so we're going to give an update on that coming up next. Welcome back to Go Chat. We are back with an NBA playoffs segment. The first rounds have kind of been they've all been finished up except one that is playing later today on Sunday. That is the Los Angeles Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks. We saw Luka Doncic early shining for those Mavericks, 2-0 lead. I'm pretty sure Clippers got 2-1. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but Clippers got 2-1. Clippers tied at 2-2. Mavericks went 3-2. Clippers tied at 3-3 with Kawhi Leonard over there in LA on Friday.
Actually, it was in Dallas. Yeah,
it was in Dallas on Friday. But now they're heading to LA this Sunday. Mike, I'm gonna throw it to you. We all had the Clippers except Tommy in the finals. But now seeing the Clippers play 6 games, do you believe that they could win this Game 7 game and move on to play Utah?
Well, I don't really know who Tommy picked at all. I don't even know if he made his NBA bracket at the end of the day.
I made it last minute, but
okay. Well, do I think the Clippers can beat the Mavericks and advance to the semifinals against Utah Jazz? Of course, I believe they can. Will they? That's a different question because for some reason the Mavericks have just shot the lights out at the Staples Center. They've been shooting almost 50% from 3 and from the field there. So the only way I could see the Clippers beating the Mavs is if they have a similar defensive performance to the one they had in Game 6 and Game 4, where they had Kawhi and Luka practically the whole game, and they ran like a smaller lineup with Batum at the 5 and Reggie Jackson running the point guard. Then they can like come and double team Luka when needed and stuff like that. Luka still had a good game in Game 6, 29-11, but he just wasn't nearly as dominant as he has been in the Mavericks wins. And I think that was the deciding factor in this game. Also, Paul George is going to need a step up because, I love Kawhi and I think he has the potential to be and the talent to be the best player on this planet, right? And he had an ultra efficient night shooting over 70%, over 45 points. Right, but is he going to replicate that for Game 7? That's ridiculously hard. So the rest of the LA Clippers is going to need to step up and help defeat this Mavericks team to move on to the next series. I mean, it's really toss up in my eyes.
Connor, who do you think is going to take this Game 7 game?
I like the Clippers a lot. I don't think Kawhi can ever be the best player on the planet. So that's fine. Don't go like you actually think your statement's valid.
Did you not just not watch the game last night?
Absolutely did, but any player can go up for 45. I mean, do we remember TJ Warren last year?
45 on 70% from the field. There have only been like 4 of the players who have done that with 2 different teams. Anyways, this is not a debate for today. Connor, continue.
I like the Mavs though. The Mavs have played really effectively in the postseason. You know, a lot of people came in, saw that they were matched up against the Clippers, us included, and said, "Oh, Clippers are going to win in." I think I had mine in 6, and you know, the Clippers were scrambling to get to a game 7. It was close that the Mavs won in 6 if they could have closed it out last night, Friday. But I think going to the Staples Center definitely gives the Clippers that advantage. You know, Kawhi's going to be playing on his home court. Paul George definitely does need to step up. I do agree with Mike there. They definitely need those pieces around Kawhi to step up to have an effective chance to play effectively and have that chance at moving on to face Utah. But I got to go with the hot hands right now. And I guess I know Kawhi lit it up in game 6, but Luka's been very dominant. I have to go with Luka and the Mavericks. If they can go in and shoot the ball the way they have been, and if Luka can put up one of the games that he can put up with a triple double with 30 plus points and over 10 assists, I think it's the Mavs game to lose on Sunday.
Tommy, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you know, knowing that they're playing in the Staples Center, I gotta go with the home team. So I'm I'm thinking we got the Clippers in this one for game 7.
If you were picking the whole team, the whole series, you'd be 0 for 6, Tommy.
I know, but hey, I mean, at some point it's gotta go the other way, right? So I don't know. I think that the Clippers are a really good team, right? And I think that you all covered it really well. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Clippers in this one. I think that they are the better team, but it'll be a great game. I mean, there's nothing better than game 7 in sports, right? So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Clippers.
I think that this is a really good matchup, and I think if one person's going to carry a team, it's not Kawhi Leonard, it's Luka Doncic, and that's why I think the Mavericks are going to win that Game 7 game because Luka Doncic is going to come in, and we've seen him carry a team. Like he has no problem in doing it, and that's why I think Luka has the advantage over Kawhi, because he could carry that team with the Mavericks. I mean, listen, Kawhi had a really good game 6, but do I think he's going to replicate it? Not really. And I think that Paul George is going to need to step up for that Clippers team. And everything's going to have to go right for them. And even though I picked them to go to my finals, I don't think they're going to make it out of this game 7. Listen, I said in Go Picks, it was game 5. I said the Clippers, they had, they won 2 games in a row at that point. They won 2 games in a row at that point. I think that they have the hot hand. They're going to win game 5. They just didn't. And guess who had a really good game? Luka Doncic. So I think Luka's really going to come out and he's just going to do that Luka magic that we all see. And I think that the Dallas is really in a good spot for this game 7 game. And, moving on, Dallas or LA, I could see maybe bouncing Utah off. Who knows at that point? Utah did have a really good round 1 after the first game with Donovan Mitchell sat out that first game, but the next 4 they just plowed through. But it's going to be a really good matchup moving forward, whoever is playing at that point. Any final thoughts on LA versus Dallas? Okay, staying in the same city, LA. LeBron James and the Lakers got bounced out. This is James's first round playoff exit ever in his career. His first round playoff exit. Try saying that multiple times. It's not going to happen. But the Lakers are bounced out. And we saw a bunch of injuries. We saw Anthony Davis. We saw LeBron still says he's not 100%. That's just a bunch of bull crap. He's just trying to get something off his chest and try to save himself. I swear, Connor, that is just how it's working at this point. Like he's going to say I'm not 100% just to try to save his ass. I that's why I think it is. I mean, maybe he isn't. Of course, the injury is a lot on him, but I think that it's still LeBron James. Like you're still supposed to, if you want to be called the GOAT, I want to see you go out there and win. Like I just think it's a little BS that he's coming out here and making his injuries seem like the reason why. Of course, Anthony Davis being out is a lot for him, but
I'm not gonna say that he's going out and not making his injuries seem like it was the reason that they lost, and I think we see this with Miami too, because Miami was swept by Milwaukee, and no doubt Milwaukee's a great team. But do we think it's just a coincidence that the teams that were in the NBA Finals last year were knocked out in the first round this year after only having 70 days of rest in between seasons? I mean, those players, and I remember Jimmy Butler in the finals. He was bent over the sidewalls, giving it his absolute all to try to win a game just 70 days before a new season started. They had such little rest and such a little offseason to right their bodies and prepare themselves for another grueling 70 plus game off regular season when both teams knew they were going to be in the postseason again because they were both very good teams. I just absolutely LeBron James needs to play better if he wants to be considered the GOAT. The Miami Heat need to be play better if they want to be considered one of the best up and coming teams in the next couple of years. But and I just think overall that this was a fault on the NBA is you have to give these players more than 70 days of rest after the NBA Finals if you want them to come in and be on their absolute best for 80 plus straight games in a season over the course of the next 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. It had to be better. And obviously I know you're making a face at me, Matt, but 70 days of rest for another 72 games of grueling competition against some of the best players in the world. And then LeBron's also nursing a high ankle sprain, which we can definitely say that he's 100%. Again, none of us know that. LeBron James knows his body, obviously, and we can call it BS if we want. But we've seen LeBron play with injuries before, even when he was 100%. He had a broken nose and he went out and put up 40 in Miami. Obviously, a broken nose is different than an ankle, but
yeah, he had a poked eye too, and he spent 3 minutes on the court crying, dude. Joe Burrow spent like 72 with a torn ACL.
Absolutely. But we have to take into account the amount of wear and tear that went onto those two teams' bodies between these last two seasons and not to give them an out as to why they were eliminated in the first round of the playoffs, because neither team played exceptionally well in the playoffs. But look at how many games they've played in the stretch of a year. I just think that's something that has to be looked at. Definitely no excuse for either of the teams, but it has to be looked at.
I kind of agree with Connor here with the fact that a lot of the teams who were, obviously the Heat and the Lakers as the two finals teams last year, but also even the Nuggets and the Celtics, they both have serious injuries to players. Jamal Murray out for the season, torn ACL. Kemba Walker still hasn't really gotten a chance to heal his knee. Jaylen Brown out for the season, and a plethora of injuries for the Celtics as well. So I think 70 days is only half the normal time of an off season, which is 140. Like the two conference finalist teams, the Celtics and the Nuggets, they both had about 85 days in the off season. That's just not to rest and get healthy. That's also to prepare and get back into game shape come the next season, which happened in December, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, that's still not an excuse for LeBron going out on the floor. I understand he's not 100%, but he just put up lackluster performance after lackluster performance and just a complete lack of leadership against the Suns. He just looked uninterested. He just did not give any effort on defense. He wanted to spend his time on the other side of the court complaining to the refs while you're only down 10 throughout the whole game where you've been getting destroyed. This is the time you got to take over and really lock down and steal some possessions back. Instead, he's complaining to the ref about a foul call he didn't get, and the Lakers are playing 5-on-4 on defense. Listen, if you really want to win games, you get your behind back and you start playing defense 100% effort. And I know, he was exhausted 100%. I understand. But at least look like you care. He just looked like he didn't care enough. And if you care, you're going to get back on defense and you're going to play some defense. And it was kind of sad to watch because it really looked like Father Time was starting to catch up to him. And I think this is the beginning of the end for LeBron. Obviously, that's going to look a lot more different than every other single player in NBA history, right? Given how good he is. But I think slowly you're going to see him start to decline. And you'll see Anthony Davis take over as that number one for Lakers. Can they win a championship with that? I don't think so, but we'll see, But I think this is the beginning of the end of an era for LeBron James. And the Lakers are going to need to figure something out this offseason. I don't know if he can lead them to a championship next year with all the wear and tear he has taken throughout his 17 plus years in this league.
Tommy, what do you think? Father Time catching up to LeBron James, or does he have anything more in the tank?
Well, I certainly think he is more in the tank, but I think, it's only natural that, Father Time's going to catch up. And I think he is declining a little bit, but I still think he can contribute. But, I think you're right, Connor. I mean, it's crazy how little time they had in between, the end of the finals and the start of this season, because, they pretty much had to start getting ready shortly after then. Of course, I mean, we saw those, or the Lakers for sure. They had injuries throughout the year. LeBron, of course, like we said, and you know, it makes sense, right? That when you're fatigued, you really don't have much time off. But at the same time, you can't make excuses, and I think they'll be back for sure. And I think that LeBron will come back, ready to go for next season for sure. Rested better, but it's a difficult situation, but it was what the NBA felt they had to do, to get a full season and without messing things up, by having these late endings. But yeah, tough situation for sure.
Talking about injuries quickly, we could talk about one of the best players in the NBA, Joel Embiid, went down with an injury against the Washington Wizards in Game 4. He ended up having a small tear in his knee or something like that. He didn't play Game 5. Sixers ended up winning. He's not going to play Game 1, I don't think, against Atlanta, which is coming up. What do you guys think? Sixers, can they get, if Joel Embiid doesn't play, do you guys think the Sixers will get bounced by the Atlanta Hawks? Connor, I'm going to swing it to you first. What do you think about this injury and the series coming up?
I don't necessarily think they can get bounced because the Sixers are an incredibly deep, talented team. But Atlanta's hot. Like, they're definitely going to ride that wave of Trae Young. I mean, he turned villain and he went with it. It was so fun to watch him in MSG light it up and then bow to the crowd. I thought it was great for the sport of basketball. Obviously, a lot of New York fans didn't like it very much, and we're throwing some stuff at him in the arena. And I mean, all the fans in the NBA just have to be better. Just a really quick disclaimer there. I mean, all of this stuff that we've been hearing over the last couple of weeks, just do better. If you want to go to a sporting event, don't go there to try to act like a fool and get taken out in handcuffs. Go and enjoy your team and be a good fan. Don't be a fan looking to say words towards someone or dump popcorn on someone or throw a water bottle. Just be there and be supportive, and none of this will happen. But I think if Atlanta gets hot and they stay hot the way that we saw them against New York, I think they could. I mean, we all know the 76ers are known for some playoff hiccups and find themselves out early due to different things. I mean, Ben Simmons can't shoot the ball, so maybe he'll just miss some layups every once in a while. I mean,
he's been playing really well.
Absolutely, he has been playing very well. The injury is definitely going to be big. It's going to be big. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he's a perennial MVP candidate at this point, Joel Embiid. I definitely think they can overcome it. I think Doc Rivers is a very, very good coach for this job to be able to take them farther than they ever have been before, in obviously recent memory. I think they can, but I think Atlanta can take advantage if they get hot the way they did. So there's no real answer there, but take it as you will.
Tommy, what do you think? Is this injury going to stop the Sixers from moving on, or are the Sixers going to play well without Joel?
I think they'll be fine. I still like the Sixers in this one against Atlanta, but obviously a player like Joel Embiid, who obviously makes such a big impact, it's gonna hurt, but I think they'll be fine. I think that they match up well against Atlanta, and they'll still be fine in this series.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I don't know. This is tough. I honestly think if Joel Embiid is not playing, I think Atlanta is gonna win that series, and I think that Joel is such a big part of that Philly team. He's close to the MVP. Obviously, he's a finalist in the top 3 for the MVP. And looking back at that Game 5 game, Ben Simmons played fantastic. He had a triple double. He also was lined up at center to start the game out. So I really don't think they have a good enough backup to be matching up against Clint Capella is their Hawks starting backup or starting center. I don't think Dwight Howard is good enough to play at the center position. And I don't think Ben Simmons should be playing at that center position. So I don't know. Trae Young was really hot. The Hawks are looking actually like a playoff team. So if we had to say right now, Joel Embiid is out throughout the whole series, give me the Hawks. Give me the Hawks. Mike, what do you think?
I'm 100% with you. If Joel Embiid is out for the length of this series, the Hawks are winning in my mind. And I know the 76ers are still a good team without him, but Joel Embiid, he was the MVP leader before he got hurt in the middle of the season, and he was a front runner for that award for a reason. He was carrying this Philly team to the number 1 seed, and even without them, even without him for an extended period of time, they were still able to get the 1 seed. But this is just a way different team without Joel Embiid. I don't really see any other player on that team is going to be able to step up and replace, or at least them step up as a unit and replace what Embiid was able to put out on the floor night in, night out. Dwight Howard can come in and give you good 15, 20 minutes, but is he going to play 30, 35 and really replace what Embiid did? No. And especially with Atlanta, they have a really lengthy defense, even with Trae Young out on the floor. Ben Simmons is going to get some tough shots. We saw what they did to Julius Randle. I think they could do something similar to Tobias Harris and bother him. Seth Curry and Tobias Harris are really going to have to hold the scoring load right now with Embiid out, and Ben Simmons is going to have to play the best basketball of his career, and I don't foresee that happening. So I think as long as Embiid's out, the Hawks are winning this series.
Any final thoughts of the NBA? Any talking points before we transition quickly to the NHL? No? We're going over to the NHL playoffs. I know Connor and Tommy are really excited about this. We're one round through, currently in the second round. We saw a couple teams get eliminated, notably Sidney Crosby and those Pittsburgh Penguins, the 1 seed in the East. They ended up getting eliminated by the New York Islanders. We saw Carey Price and the Canadiens spoil the Maple Leafs playoff hopes. Maple Leafs had a 3-1 lead, blew that like the Warriors. Carey Price and the Canadiens, they come through, and they actually have a 2-0 lead right now against the Winnipeg Jets. And we saw the Winnipeg Jets sweep Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. A lot to talk about. Mike, I'm going to start with you. Any initial, I'm not going to start with Connor and Tommy. That'd just be not the best idea. Any initial reactions to either the Penguins, Oilers, and Maple Leafs getting bounced out in the first?
I'll start off with the Maple Leafs. I just feel sorry for that fan base. I mean, year after year, they're blowing playoff leads, and I just don't understand how it happened, especially this year. You've had your best defense you've had in a while. Austin Matthews has turned into a bona fide top 5 player in the league. I'd argue top 3 at this point behind McKinnon and McDavid, right? And you trade for Nick Foligno from Toronto. From Columbus. Probably should have traded for Taylor Hall. Hindsight is 2020. But they wanted that great. Anyways, this Toronto team was the most loaded it's been in years, and you lose to a team that was barely able to squeak into the playoffs at under a point per game during the regular season. Obviously, we're seeing now that the Canadiens are a realer team than we thought they are. They're up 2-0 against the Jets. Maybe the Scheifele suspension has something to do with that. We don't know. But the fact of the matter is that Toronto blew another major series lead, and I don't know what they're supposed to do in the offseason. They have top 5, top 3 roster in the league. Are you going to change the coach? Maybe. Are you just going to totally, flip it out and trade Marner for a couple players? Marner and Matthews combined for 1 goal in a 7-game series. You're paying them over $20 million combined. That's unacceptable. That can't happen. If you ever want a chance at sniffing the Stanley Cup, you're going to need them to score at least 10 goals combined. So Maple Leafs, just sad. That's all I have to say. Just embarrassing.
Yeah, no, definitely. We saw Carey Price come in and kind of be a savior for the Canadians, really playing lights out goaltending, if that's even a term at this point. And even against the Jets in the first 2 games, made some incredible saves Friday night against in game 2. But yeah, like you said, the Maple Leafs, they were at their high point. I mean, this was a really good team, and I thought that they were going to go to the Final Four. I thought it was pretty obvious. Well, not too obvious, because I also thought the Oilers, which that didn't work out either. But like you said, Matthews and Marner, the star power there. I think Mitch Marner played awful. I honestly think that maybe trading him could be an option for them this offseason, see what they could get out of that, because Mitch Marner is a young, really good player. Really good, at his peak. Obviously not, like I said, not in the playoffs. But Jack Campbell let up some goals. But yeah, I think the Maple Leafs, you should have it. I expected more. Fans expected more.
Everyone did.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought they could have swept this Montreal team. It really, I didn't think they were that good coming into the series, and the only reason I gave them the game was because of Carey Price, and go figure that he's stealing series now. So
yeah, I mean, I think they're a little cursed in the playoffs. Connor, it's your turn, buddy. Any thoughts on the Maple Leafs? You can even talk about the Oilers series or the Penguins getting eliminated.
Whew, here comes the heat, man. I'm not huge on hockey. I was watching the Canadians Vegas Knights, right? That's their second round matchup.
Jets, Winnipeg Jets, yes.
Winnipeg Jets. On Sportsnet, I was watching those highlights, and the goalie Carey Price. I mean, really great saves. I mean, they won the game on Friday night 1-0, and some of the saves that he was making to solidify the end of that game, I mean, were really impressive. Obviously, I'm not big into watching all the hockey highlights. You see him on SportsCenter top 10 a lot of the time. Some great saves, some great shots. Some fantastic saves from Carey Price to solidify a win there from the Canadians. And last week in GOAT picks, I was the only one that picked them to win against the Winnipeg Jets. And
Toronto Maple Leafs.
no, against
the Maple Leafs. I just know hockey so well, guys. And they were able to come out on top. Mike was texting, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is happening. And I just call me the GOAT pick hockey genius. I'm here saying so much valuable stuff about hockey right now. But yeah, when it comes to GOAT picks, I got those games on lock.
You do have a really good record, so I can't really argue against that. Tommy, any thoughts on the Maple Leafs? Like I said, Maple Leafs, Oilers, or the Pittsburgh Penguins. So I think you had in your finals, if I'm not mistaken.
I did. I was just thinking about that. I think I had them going pretty
I
close.
think Pittsburgh winning it all.
Yeah, I think I had them going all the way, Mike. And that didn't happen. So it's a little bit of a letdown from last year when I won the whole thing with the bracket challenge with the Tampa Bay Lightning going all the way.
Not gonna happen. Yeah, it's not gonna happen this year.
No, I mean, hey, it happens though. But no, I was surprised by that, of course. I think that Connor gave some incredible insight there. I thought that was just tremendous. I'm not the biggest hockey guy either. But I don't know who I'm going to root for now. Go Vegas, I guess, the rest of the way.
Moving to, quickly talking points about, maybe me and Mike could just go through this quickly. Connor McDavid and the Oilers being swept. I mean, come on. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, the star power you have there and getting swept. That is just, I couldn't believe it myself. I mean, Connor Hellebuck did play really well that series, but I couldn't believe it.
I think that might be more embarrassing than what happened in Toronto. Just you can get one game. You have the best player in the world. You have another top 5 player in the world, and Mike Smith was really stepping up and playing well this season. Gave Edmonton some goaltending they haven't had in the Connor McDavid era, and they just totally failed. It goes to show that star play doesn't necessarily take over in the playoffs. It can when you have good depth and good players around, your superstars and stuff like that. But it's absolutely shocking. And if I'm Connor McDavid, I'm walking up to that James offense and I'm saying, get me some help, because he's the best player in the world. They need some more depth. They still need more defense, and we'll see what they do this offseason, because they have a lot to fix.
Yeah, they do. Moving to the Pittsburgh Penguins quickly. New York Islanders, they have a really good defense. Really showed in that series. And Tristan Jarry, really young goaltender for Pittsburgh, and he just made some mistakes. I mean, I think it was game 5. It was in double overtime, and he passed it, or literally right to an Islander, and an Islander scored to take that 3-2 series lead, and then it ended up just being 4-2. So I think really young goaltender there, a lot to fix on, but who knows if the Penguins will be back next year.
I mean, Crosby, Malkin, and Letang are not getting any younger, so their window's closing. I don't really think they could do anything with Jerry and net as much. I don't know how much he can improve, but that was one of the reasons why I had Boston coming out of that side of the bracket, because Jerry was so unreliable, and that showed in the Islanders series.
Yep, and quickly going through, Vegas ended up winning last night. They had a cold streak. They're down 0-2 to Colorado. Ended up winning on Friday night. Series is now 2-1. Who do we think is going to end up? Because I think that's the best series at this point, especially if Vegas starts winning. Who do we think is going to end up winning this series? I'm going to start. I'll give me and Mike will start, so you guys can have some base to side on. I think it's Colorado. Colorado is going to win the Stanley Cup, and I'm sure of it. McKinnon, Landeskog, Rantanen, Makar, Grubauer, the star power they have there. I think it's going to be too much for Vegas, like it was in the first 2 games. And I don't know. This team is so fun to watch. I love watching them, and I'm a huge fan of what the star power and what they could do there. So I think that the Avalanche, riding them all the way to the Stanley Cup. Mike?
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as you here. Vegas was able to steal a game off Colorado, but even against I think the Vegas had the second most points in the league, and Colorado had the first. They're still, they're still a level better than Vegas is, and I don't know if there's a team that can stop them. Maybe Tampa at this point. With the return of Kucherov and Stamkos, they've just been nearly unstoppable, especially on the power play. So if we get that Stanley Cup matchup, I will be extremely happy. But I think Colorado is going to come out of this series, and they have a fantastic shot at the Stanley Cup. They are not feeling any pressure of winning the cup this year compared to last year. So I'm taking Colorado.
Tommy, you're gonna ride with Vegas? I mean, you just said that.
They got a shot. They got a shot. They still have a good team.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you have a shot if you're playing, right? I didn't realize Colorado was that good, but hey, I'm gonna ride with Vegas. I said it, so I'll stick with it. Like you said, 3-2 win on Friday night, so I think they're gonna keep it rolling. Go Vegas.
They're Vegas and Colorado are 2 very, very, very good teams, so it really can go either way. So don't feel like Colorado is just an easy favorite because me and Mike picked them.
I know, but you guys know, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Vegas is loaded too, especially if they won Game 4 in the next couple coming nights. This is a real series.
There we go.
Connor,
Yeah, I think Vegas handed Colorado their first loss of the postseason on Friday night in that 3-2 victory. And I think Vegas is gonna ride the wave. You gamble in Vegas, so I'm gonna take the gamble, and I'm gonna go with the Knights. I'm gonna go with the Vegas Knights.
It's a great pick.
All right, well, we're just gonna have to see.
Yeah.
I really am interested to see if Vegas wins this. I'm really embarrassed, Mike, at this point now. But no, really, it's been really fun to watch some hockey. I've really been getting into it more. I haven't watched a lot of NBA, but the playoffs, watched Sixers, but not a lot of NBA. But the playoffs are going to continue these next couple of weeks, and I'm sure we're going to be talking about it coming up in the next couple of weeks with the finals coming up the next month, probably. Both finals. But we got an episode to finish. No go picks; those will be posted anyways. We like to see who's playing who and the updated games. So those will be posted, but we're not going to pick them on the episode. So we're going to go right through the go of the week. Coming up next.
Welcome back to Go Chat. We are here with not a very great segment. It's go to the week, but you guys know how the go to the week went last week. I was extremely confident in Phil Mickelson, and there were some shady deals under the table. I felt it. I felt it.
Give me a
Tommy and I both knew it was happening, but you know what? Phil Mickelson lost by 1. A deal is a deal. Matt and Mike each received their $5 for cheating in Goat of the Week.
Oh my
God. Don't even get me started. Dane voted for you twice, dude.
And we didn't ask him to.
We didn't ask anyone else to vote for us.
I think that's a questionable statement.
My God.
Dude, I had 4 votes for me. I didn't think I was gonna get 1. If I really wanted Matt to win, I would have asked all those people who voted for me.
Do you have any idea how bad people wanted Phil to win? Matt's brother Tommy, obviously on the show a couple weeks ago, DM'd me on Instagram exactly when the episode ended and said, "I don't even like golf, and I'm voting Phil." People wanted me to win so bad.
You think if I cheated?
Well, more people wanted Luka Doncic to win, so be quiet.
Whatever. It's a new week. A go to the week. I doubt that I'm going to win again. Although the person I'm going to pick is very deserving of a go to the week. It's at that point where it's just blasphemy. So go ahead, man.
This guy, no wonder why he likes LeBron James, because all he does is cry, and so does LeBron James. So for my go to the week, I'm going to go
hang on. No, hang on. If I'm the one that cried, do you remember when the whole Aaron Rodgers things came about and you were such a little baby, you turned around all your Aaron Rodgers posters so you didn't have to stare at him in a Packers jersey? I'm the baby?
Oh my gosh, Connor.
That's a little different, Connor.
Connor, that is so different. You have no idea because you're a Jets fan. But I'm going to go with Cale Makar for my go of the week. Cale Makar has been playing really well. Vegas and Colorado, that series, obviously Colorado had 2 really great games. And Cale Makar in those 3 games, he's been on a points tear. The first game, Colorado versus Vegas, he had 1 goal, 3 assists. That's 4 points for you guys who don't know hockey. And then the next game, he had an assist. And the next game, he had another assist. So my go of the week is well-deserved Cale Makar, who's just been playing phenomenal on defense for Colorado. There's so many players to pick for Colorado, but I just went with Cale. Brandon Saad is also on a really good point streak. Really fun to see as a Blackhawks fan because he used to play there. But nonetheless, you got to vote for the vegetable Cale.
You're going to put me back to sleep over here, Matt. I mean, come on, bring someone at least entertaining to the table. Go ahead, Mike.
Says the guy who picked a golfer last week.
A 51-year-old golfer who won a tournament.
Even worse, a 51-year-old. Anyways, I'm going with Devin Booker. He did what I said he was going to do, and he defeated LeBron James and the LA Lakers. The Phoenix Suns are moving on to the second round. Biggest part due to Devin Booker and what he was able to accomplish this series, especially in the closeout game, Game 6, where he dropped 47 points on 68% from the field, 80% from 3, and 100% from the line. That also include 11 rebounds in that. He also averaged over 30 points. I mean, almost 30 points for this series, 6 rebounds and 5 assists. So he's blossoming into a superstar for the Phoenix Suns. and the Phoenix Suns look like they're probably the team to beat out in the West. So Devin Booker is 100% the go of the week this week. There is no question about it.
Go ahead, Tommy. Let's hear your grow of the week this week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not going to win, but I got to go with Mike Krzyzewski. Coach K announcing his retirement earlier this week. And, he is one of the best. I mean, he's the winningest coach of all time. I think that there's other coaches that are certainly in the conversation. But what he's been able to do over his 46 years is incredible. I mean, you take a look, 35 NCAA tournament appearances, 12 Final Fours, 5 national titles. He's just been incredible. And, when he announced this, I was looking back at his stats, and a 764 all-time winning percentage. He has 1,170 wins and only 361 career losses, in his time. Obviously, spent the majority of his career with Duke. He also spent some time with the Army at the beginning of his career, and just an incredible coach. And it'll be great to, hopefully they'll have a good year to send him off. I know that they have a pretty talented team, but so Coach K, go of the week.
For my go of the week, I'm going to go with a softball player in the College World Series from James Madison University, Odysseus Alexander. They went up against the number 1 seed. I think it was Oklahoma State. And she pitched an
Oklahoma. You gotta get your stuff right, buddy. I even know that. Come on.
And she pitched an absolute gem, throwing 8 innings, able to get them the win over the number 1 team. And then in their game yesterday, she makes a stunning fielding play, fielding the ball on the pitcher circle and diving towards the runner, running towards home plate to get that out to solidify another win. JMU is being led right now in their College World Series run. A lot of people didn't think that they would be able to go through this run, and Odysseus Alexander is definitely leading the charge for that team over some of the top teams in the country, looking for a national championship to go to JMU.
All around phenomenal picks. I think Tommy, you honestly might win. I don't know why you said you wouldn't win, because it's Coach K. I mean,
no, I know. I mean, I could, but I feel like I haven't won since last
people who take go to the week right never win. So
okay. All right. Well, I think it's gonna be between Devin Booker and Coach K. Both great picks. Connor, also a great pick, but the name's not there.
Connor, you should take in Montana Fouts. She pitched a perfect game that hasn't been done in like 20 years.
What?
The pitcher from Alabama, the one who threw a perfect game Friday night.
2 Ithaca College pitchers pitched for perfect games this year in their season.
Well, this is the first time it's been done in 20 years in the playoffs. Anyways, I'm just trying to point out that you didn't pick the best softball player to have a performance this past week.
Are you kidding me?
No. Montana Fouts pitched a perfect game. She had 14 strikeouts through 7 innings. What do you? Why is this an argument? This
Odysseus Alexander went out there against the number 1 team in the country and shut them down offensively, and then made a diving play to get an out at the plate to solidify 2 straight wins for a team that probably should have been knocked out in their first game.
Okay, wait. So that's why you want to pick JMU as your go of the week, right?
I wanted to pick JMU because their team as a whole has been so effective in this College World Series, beating some of the top teams in the country.
Okay. No, I think this is really funny, but we don't need any extra.
What's funny?
That you go out here and say, what's her name again? Sorry.
Odysseus Alexander.
Okay, you go out there and say Odysseus Alexander shut down Oklahoma, but that was actually the whole team. Like JMU shut down Oklahoma, and you wanted to pick JMU for your go to the week. You probably didn't even know her name at that point, so you just picked.
I did.
Okay, all right. I'm just saying. It's
don't be throwing that type of crap at me, Matt. You're getting me a little.
You know they played against it. You said Oklahoma State. I had to correct you there.
Oh man.
I just think it's really funny, but. We don't need any more extracurricular activities on this. Go chat.
Good language. English is good.
Correct, Connor. English is good, and we all like to use it on this show.
Okay.
You're gonna catch me using a little bit of French here soon.
I was trying to find a way to tie into that. Tommy, can you give us some French?
Est-ce que je peux boire de l'eau? It means
Very
to-
nice. And I think that's gonna put a nice bow onto the end of this Go Chat episode 89. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully some of you made this far, probably not. But if you're here, we truly appreciate you and your support to what we produce, the content we make. So if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. Please follow all our socials. Please like this video. Leave a comment down below. Tell us your thoughts on the whole situation, on anything NBA, NHL related, softball related, who you think is going to win Go of the Week, all that stuff. And don't forget to vote for Go of the Week on our Instagram, Goat Chat. So thank you guys once again for all the support, and we will see you in the next one.